Well, welcome once again to Start It Up here on ZDNet. This is where we talk to entrepreneurs about what could be the next big idea. And this time, we're talking to Cameron Tanner about Chargebar. So Chargebar, I mean, the name sort of implies what it is really, doesn't it? It's a way of charging up your mobile device.
Yes. The previous name was Battery Mobile Phone Charging Kiosk.
Right.
And we thought that was quite a mouthful.
That said what it is. But
yeah. So we came up with the word Chargebar.
Right. And the interesting thing is, you're a co-founder of this business. The other co-founder is your brother, going into business with your brother. I mean, some people might say, "Oh, that sounds like a difficult path to traverse," but it's working quite well for you, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, we were just talking about that before. That I think it's like having any business partner. There's strengths and weaknesses of your business partner. There's highs and lows with your business partner. Me personally, my view, because it does get asked a lot, what's it like working with a family member? I think it's got way more strengths than weaknesses, because you're in it for a common goal, and you're in it for a long time, so you get to more time to iron out maybe the weaknesses and work together.
Yeah.
And you've got that trust, so I think it works well.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You've got that family trust. So the idea of the business then is that you're going to outlets, cafes and places like that, I guess, that are willing to install one of these charge bars, so that somebody's caught short, they know their mobile phone's about to conk out, they dive for the nearest place, and I guess the idea is they create flow-on business for wherever it is they've stepped into.
Correct. So there's a free-to-use charging stations in most of these venues. Every single one of our venues that we've spoken to has said that they do notice increased foot traffic to their store. It does take a little bit of time to get there, but they have seen that, which is great. I was just down the road and asked one of the venues on the way here, and he said, yeah, people walk in all the time. And I said, do they buy something while they're here? And he goes, yeah, of course, they grab a beer. So as long as we keep getting that feedback, we feel like our venues that are partnering with us are seeing results, as well as offering a free service, which is a win for the consumer and it's a win for the business.
So and is it like a bar? Is it like something that sits on the wall, or physically what does it look like?
We've got a family of products. I wish there was one product that suited all. It would make our life easier. Sometimes you've got very big spaces, and an example would be an airport, large hallways and large advertising formats, around there. It's something tiny that sits on the walls, maybe a bit small. So you need something with a bit more, draws more attention in those sorts of spaces. In something like a small cafe, for example, you really don't have a lot of room. So you need to have something a little bit smaller, maybe about yay big, that can go on the wall neatly.
But aren't people worried, particularly in those large venues, that you plug in your phone and then someone scarpers with it?
Right. We have offered locker ones before in the past. There are pros and cons to each model. The model that we run with is the one where you wait with your device. That question gets asked to me all the time. The way that I answer it, if you want to see what I say to all my venues, is I say, have you ever walked into any venue before in your life, pop that down on the table, and then gone for a walk around the venue for 10 minutes? And they always go, no, I haven't. And I said, well, do you think your customers would pop their most precious device, which is their songs, it's their Facebook, it's their email, it's their text messages, it's their photos, do you think they're going to leave it sitting there for someone to nab? And they're like, no.
No, because you never know what's going to happen, do you?
No, someone might just...
oh, they're sure.
We do put a disclaimer sticker on there as well, just to remind people, hey, it's your phone, it's your responsibility. But yeah, we've charged hundreds of thousands of phones, and we're not getting that feedback. We also surveyed people that have used charging stations before, both before and after, what are their fears, and as soon as someone has used a charging station before, their fears of anything like that happening are always subdued.
It's quite a linear business, though, isn't it? So in terms of growth, so you have to, because physically you've got to deliver these products. You've got to go through the sales cycle with these individual outlets. You've got to then physically deliver it. We look at a lot of. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but we get so used to online businesses talking about their viral approach this isn't really a viral marketing gig, is it? Really, this is a hard work, knock on doors, put the kit into stores, go and do the next one type of approach.
I can see where you're coming from, and I love web businesses. It's one of my hobby as well, and looking at apps and things like that. So I can see where you're coming from. I think there's definitely a lot of businesses in the market though that are great businesses that don't necessarily do the web viral business. The best example that just comes to mind straight away is I'm sure if you went and spoke to Coke vending, how their business model's going after 30. And I think they'll say it's doing just great. And like a vending machine, it's once you've got that service in that space, be it a car park, be it an airport, be it a hospital, there's only really room for one. You don't really, you're not you're not going to be putting up a whole lot of other ones when there's already something there that provides that service.
But it is like a land grab, isn't it? Because I mean, the idea is out there. Lots of people could be doing it. The world's a big place. You're covering a little corner of it at the moment. But you could do so much more. But the only way you're going to do more is to have more feet on the ground out there selling it and delivering it. So I guess you've got that. You've got to grow in a safe fashion, but also there's plenty of upside. So how do you balance that growth against the risk?
I guess that I was speaking with a friend yesterday, and we were talking about a similar topic as well. And when there's plenty of green pastures, that's a great thing for a business. It's a great problem to have when there's so much green pasture out there, which means we can definitely get to we can get to scale quite quickly. I guess another sort of problem is more, yes, the idea or the product can be done elsewhere in the world. It has been being done elsewhere in the world for, I think, in China and Asia for at least 10 years now.
Oh, really?
And we don't believe that they've been scaling as quickly as we have. So we believe we're onto something pretty special in order to be able to scale quite quickly, and that's what we keep working towards. And
so what's the secret? How are you? Well, you probably don't want to give away the secret because it is a secret. But I mean, there must be something that you're doing that's different in terms of enabling you to scale faster than other people.
Correct. A lot of everyone that speaks to me, they said, why aren't these things everywhere? Why can't you charge your phone there and there and there and there? And there's been a lot of sort of barriers. Consumers don't want to pay for them, so we had to rule that out. A purely advertising-based model, there's a lot of media assets out there to be able to fund these things. So we've had to keep working on the product and keep working on the business model to make it the most attractive it possibly can be, so every single venue can have one. So that's what we're working towards. Is the answer I can say.
So this advertising model. So no, I was assuming that the venue just pays because of the increased traffic it was going to get, but you've also got models where you're exposed to some advertising. I guess people are standing around.
Yes.
They've got 10 or 15 minutes to kill.
There's no doubting that that a charging station is a good media tool. When you've got someone plugged in, they're sitting there for 10, 15, 20 minutes, and they're looking to be entertained. Charging is what it is. It's not the most fun experience. So if you give them something to do, whether it be scan a QR code, prompt them to a mobile site, give them a game to play, give them a screen to touch, give them a television commercial or branded content to watch, they'll definitely do it. So there is that avenue. Just how quickly you can scale that, though, is something that we've...
And where are you now? So how long have you been going? How many customers have you got? And what's the growth looking like at this stage?
So we've been going about 18 months in market in Sydney. We did some planning beforehand, speaking with all the different companies around the world that was doing something similar. We're now up to about 130 venues. In the last 2 months, we've got a lot of attention from national franchises. When you talk about growth, that's what we're excited about. When you've got the likes of food franchises, shopping centre franchises, retail franchises that are saying, you know what, we should be embracing charging stations like we did free Wi-Fi.
But for small businesses, that is always the big problem, isn't it? When you get the big chains involved, you've got to scale up to meet that demand. So you're confident you can do that?
Certainly.
Right. And I guess from the user's point of view, you have an app, a mobile phone app, so you can use the app to find out where the nearest place is.
Yeah, certainly. So we've got a mobile phone app. At the moment it's just on iPhone. We're working for it for Android as well. And we're really excited about this, both from consumers and also for venues. It's a button in your pocket that whenever you're running low, wherever you are, it can guide you to power. And
does it flash up? Can it tell when I'm running?
We're working on that as well. So it'll only give you a ping when you need it, when you're out of home.
Right.
Just to remind you that, hey, you can grab a coffee on the corner and you can also charge your phone there now.
Right.
So that's available on the App Store too.
Okay, excellent. Well, let's see what people think. I'm sure lots of people think the idea is a good one. It's a question as to whether it's they think it's a long-term sustainable business or not, and people can vote on that. Go to the voting panel just below this video on the site. Thanks for coming in and telling us about it.
Thanks.